Hi, Steve Adubato. Welcome to the Tisch WNET studio here in the heart of New York City. We are pleased to welcome, all the way from Long Island, wasn't a long commute, but we're glad to have him, Scott Schwartz, Artistic Director, Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor.
Hey, Steve.
In the Hamptons, right?
Out in the Hamptons, heart of the Hamptons.
Tell us what goes on out there at this great theater at Bay Street.
It's a wonderful company. We do a full summer season of 3 fully professional main stage productions. We also have many special events, comedians, special artists who come in all throughout the summer. We do a free Shakespeare in the Park in the summer, and year-round, we function as a community center and arts organization in the center of Sag Harbor, bringing in all sorts of different groups, doing educational programming, rock concerts. It's a really exciting place to be.
Who goes?
Who goes? Well, I think many people who are in the Hamptons. We have a lot of subscribers who are local to the area year-round, but we also have a lot of folks who are there in the summer who come just to see our summer programming.
25th anniversary.
Yeah.
So 25 years, so interesting, you know, and when you're in public television, we're a nonprofit, but constantly dealing with the business side of things. You know, I just said to you before we got on the air, nonprofit, but highly entrepreneurial. Same thing?
Absolutely. Well,
Describe that.
Well, in the end, our job is to do interesting, creative, cutting-edge art that appeals to an audience, you know, and we want to find all sorts of different ways to serve our community, both permanent and summer community, with work that they couldn't see anywhere else.
So is Literature Live one of your programs? Literature Live, is that an example of what you're talking about?
That is. Literature Live is one of our signature education programs, and we have a show running right now as part of Literature Live, a version of Mice and Men, which students come to for free, and we are serving over 3,000 students with this show, and we also do performances for the public in the evenings that they can come to see as well. It's actually just opened. It's gotten wonderful reviews, and we're really proud of it.
What do kids wind up, Scott, taking away from a program like that? What do they take away?
Well, I think they take away a number of things. First of all, exposure to live theater and to the arts, which many of these kids have never had. This may be their first experience of going to the theater. They go, many of them, with their classes, so they get to talk about the work they've seen. And we do works like Of Mice and Men. We've done Diary of Anne Frank.
Classics.
Classics. Last year we did To Kill a Mockingbird that deal with really important social issues. And particularly last year there was something that happened, which was we were doing To Kill a Mockingbird, and it was right during the Ferguson riots. And that sparked a lot of important conversations in our community and with the students.
I don't think people realize how powerful the themes are in To Kill a Mockingbird and how relevant, maybe more relevant today than ever before.
It's astounding. I mean, it's still one of the greatest works probably of American literature ever.
You know, you are in your 3rd year as the artistic director.
Yes.
You have a background as a director.
Yes.
Tell folks the difference who may not be in the arts community, who don't really understand, well, artistic director, what's the difference?
Sure. Well, the director oversees an individual production. So I get a script and I put the production together, stage it, and that's what I do as a freelance director. As artistic director, I'm overseeing the entire arc of the organization. I pick the shows we do. I ultimately am responsible for hiring the artists.
Excuse me, you have to say no to certain productions.
I do, yeah, and there are a lot of scripts or projects which are proposed to me which I don't feel are necessarily right for our audience or don't fit in with what we're trying to do at a given time. But I'm overseeing what we present to the community and bringing artists together to create great work. And occasionally I direct at Bay Street as well, but my main focus is putting together these seasons that speak to the community.
I'm going to try to generalize here. What sells?
I wish I knew. Sometimes we get lucky.
That's the same question we ask every day in public broadcasting. Terry, our floor manager, is shaking his head. By the way, what's interesting about this is it's not as simple as what sells, because even if we knew what sells, we wouldn't do that, because we also know some other folks who do what sells, and that's what makes us different. Is it making any sense?
Totally. And we are not-for-profit theaters, so our job is different.
We're supposed to be different.
We're supposed to be different, and our job is different than a commercial production,
That's
which
right.
has to make its money back for its investors of an individual show. In a not-for-profit theater, we're looking at a whole year. We're looking at different kinds of work that we can do that will appeal to as broad an audience as possible, but sometimes different portions of an audience. We're very focused on new work at Bay Street now, and there's a portion of our audience, a large portion, that's very excited by new work. But there's some of our audience that prefers classics, so we also do innovative revivals of classics. We do musicals. I'm very passionate about musicals, both new and older. And again, there's a large segment of our audience that likes that. And in the end, there's something we talk about at Bay Street a lot where we say we want to please our audience. We want to give the audience works that they're going to be interested in, but we also want to give them works that are sometimes unexpected and that they wouldn't have heard of or wouldn't have known they would like, but then they come and see it and they love it. And there is a little bit of magic and there's a little bit of alchemy. I mean, last summer we had one of our most successful seasons ever, and one production in particular, we did a revival of the musical Grey Gardens, which starred Betty Buckley and Rachel York and an amazing cast. And
the great Betty Buckley?
The great
She has
Betty
a wonderful
Buckley.
voice. I've seen her perform a couple of times with Michael Feinstein.
She's an astounding
great.
performer and actress, Tony Award winner, of course.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, there she is, exactly. And Grey Gardens was the top grossing show we'd ever done at Bay Street Theater. Partly, obviously, Grey Gardens is set in the Hamptons, and so it had a certain local appeal.
So it had a Long Island appeal.
It did. We had certain, star actors in it that were attractive to an audience. But, you never know. I mean, it just connected with people.
Yeah, real quick, Gigantic is?
Gigantic is a new musical that I'm directing in New York at the Vineyard Theater. We're currently running. It's a really funny, edgy, smart show about teenagers who go to a fat camp.
And where is it?
The Vineyard Theater, which is a wonderful not-for-profit here, but we're performing off-site at the Acorn Theater on 42nd Street, a Vineyard Theater production at the Acorn on 42nd.
And it's about a fat camp?
About a fat camp and a group
musical?
of kids who go.
It's a musical.
It is a musical, a rock musical.
Love it. Scott Schwartz is the artistic director at Bay Street Theater in Sag Harbor out in Long Island in the Hamptons. I want to thank you for joining us, and want to make sure our friends out in the island, Long Island, know about it. And also here in Manhattan, everywhere in the area, go out there and check it out. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Stay with us. We're right back from the Tisch WNET studio in the heart of New York City. Thank you.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by ENGLEWOOD Hospital and Medical Center, Wells Fargo, Delta Dental of New Jersey, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, PSE&G, the Mental Health Association in New Jersey, and by Cone Resnick. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.